Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to a 24-hour readathon with a twist. I'm not going to be picking what I'm reading. These things are. For the month of July, I will be participating in the Deck-of-TBR-a-thon, a card-based readathon, and I will have the announcement linked down in the description. But essentially, each of these cards has a prompt series attached. 3 different prompts per number or face, no difference between suits, and they are for different point values based on difficulty. Yes, this is a team-based readathon. I am Team Red, which is the team with more setup in the TBR, a little bit more prep beforehand. So I do have an idea of what book I am going to be picking for any of these cards, but I have no idea which of those is going to come up in the morning when I get started. And that's a little bit of an issue because some of them are way better suited to a 24-hour readathon than others. I am giving myself the opt-out of if the card brings up a review book, a book that I've been sent by the author for review, it will just be a skip and a redraw because I do not do review books as part of my 24-hour readathon simply because I don't want the stress of the readathon to affect my rating. Especially not when the author's probably going to see it. I'm also not doing a true 24-hour readathon where you stay up all night and read literally nonstop. I have done that before. Read 6 books in 24 hours and was miserable the entire time. Giant headaches, hated it. Didn't even really like the books that I got because I'd got them all for their shortness. Never again. We will be taking breaks. We will be getting a full night's sleep. We will be exercising and doing all of that good stuff to maintain my sanity, but we will still be reading more than normal. I am hoping to get to 1,000 pages over the course of the day. It's just that I'm relying on this to tell me where those 1,000 pages are going. Although, tonight I did do my first draw, so I at least know what I'm starting my morning with. And let's talk about that. The series of prompts for 2 is all about other readathons going on in July, and I'm going to go with the 5-point prompt, which is to read a book that would count for Jane Austen July, which does not feel like the advanced point prompt. That feels very easy, but I'm also not just going to be reading a Jane Austen book. I've read a lot of it, and one of the prompts in Jane Austen July is to read a Jane Austen contemporary, someone else that was writing at that time. So I will be reading Adeline Mowbray by Amelia Opie. This is published in the very, very early 1800s, right at the beginning of the Regency era, and it is loosely based on the life of Mary Wollstonecraft, who is the mother of Mary Shelley. That alone sold it to me, which is great because I can't really figure out what else this book is about. It's mostly between a mother and daughter and is about philosophy, and I get the gist that it's proto-feminism, first wave feminism. So I am looking forward to that, but most importantly, I'm looking forward to the fact that because this is outside the realm of copyright, I can get a free audiobook version through LibriVox. I'm so serious. I need more people to know about LibriVox. If you're listening to classics and any of that, free, completely free, because outside of copyright, you gotta check out their audiobooks. Also, I will be using Project Gutenberg to get a free ebook version to follow along, and I may switch between the two. I am hopefully going to stick mostly to the audiobook just because I got a lot of crafting stuff I want to do, a lot of sewing, a lot of crochet, a lot of getting up and moving around, and I'm hoping that using an audiobook and actually getting out and getting movement done will help prevent a lot of the stress that these 24-hour readathons can cause. But now I actually got to go get some sleep and then I will come back to you in the morning and we can get this thing started. Good morning. I have been a very busy bee. I watered the garden, I did my workout, I crocheted and finally wove in some ends, all while listening to Adeline Mowbray by Amelia Opie. And it's been pretty slow going. We're at nearly 4 hours in at 1.5 speed and I'm only at page 125. I mean, the 4 hours is what's in the audiobook, not that I've been listening for 4 hours straight. Not quite that long. But I actually got confused at one point because the book is so melodramatic. I was like, this can't be based on a real person's life. So I looked up the life of Mary Wollstonecraft, and I am impressed by her. Because she was, the second oldest of 7 and parentified at a very early age due to an abusive father and had to take on a bunch of jobs despite the fact that she was technically respectable and shouldn't have, and was very involved in the discussions around the French Revolution and was very revolutionary in her views on the rights of women. Pretty impressive life. This is definitely a life that deserves a book. This book has next to nothing to do with it. because as far as I can tell, the real only overlap between the two is the fact that they both had affairs outside of marriage. And that must have been like shocking at the time because that's something respectable women in the public eye did not do. I fully believe it happened a ton at like the lower classes, but you know, when people eyes were on you, not as often. However, this book is not nearly as feminist as Mary Wollstonecraft's life was. She was writing on the rights of women at a really early age, but even though this protagonist doesn't like marriage, it's not from a feminist point of view. It's not, oh, me getting married as a woman means I would lose all these rights, I would lose all this money to my husband. It's, oh, marriage is horrible for everybody because it denigrates the act of romance. And she reads this all from an author, meets the author, and that's who she ends up falling in love with and getting into this extramarital affair with. But she's also monumentally stupid in a way that doesn't make any sense. Not because she believes that marriage, the act of like getting a wedding, denigrates romance, but because she's so surprised that everyone else is like disapproving of this, that she's made herself a pariah. She has no idea that she has made herself a pariah by doing this. And it's like, yes, you've been sheltered, but you've still gone to church. Like the book makes it clear she's still a Christian in the early 19th century. There's no way you don't know what the general consensus is about this kind of relationship to not know that you would be ostracized. Like, I could understand a kind of, oh, I'm going to do this and fuck their opinions type beat, but that's not what she's on. She's genuinely shocked that other people, like, avoid her when they realize the situation she's living in. Makes no sense. Okay, Mary Wollstonecraft would never. I may be turning into Mary Wollstonecraft fan. I'm not going to lie. But this seems much more critical of philosophy than anything because Adeline's mother is very philosophy-based but doesn't actually follow through with it in practice. She just likes reading about the books and thinking about them deeply without doing anything about them. Like, she'll read about the ills of the world but never actually helps the ills in the nearby village despite the fact that she has a bunch of money. So it's not nearly as feminist as I was hoping for, not nearly as accurate to the life of Mary Wollstonecraft as I was hoping for, and it does seem very big melodrama where she's just refusing marriage for no good reason, or at least a reason that doesn't sound good coming out of her mouth, because she would marry for her own sake, but she can't do it for her husband, because if her husband gets married, BTW, he wants to, she would be a hypocrite. She can't let him be a hypocrite. That sounds like the fakest ass excuse. Like, girl, just say you don't want to give up your inheritance that you're going to get from your mom, because mom's loaded. just say that. That would make so much more sense than these roundabout excuses. So I am going to finish it, but I think what I'm going to do is I will continue listening to the audiobook through lunch while I'm eating, and then after I'm done eating, I will switch to the e-copy because I can read it so much faster. I'm actually a little bit behind where I thought I would be right now, but I also got a lot done and I'm not very stressed at all, which I would have been if I had been reading the text all these hours, despite being farther ahead. So I still got some other stuff I want to do, and I will check in with you probably in at least another 100 pages. I don't want to be checking in too much, but we'll see where we end up. All right, we are dressed, we have the nails painted, we have our little tally sheet for points for the Readathon, and we have another 100 pages listened to of Adeline Mowbray. And again, this bitch, she's losing points in my book because she insists she's basically as good as married to this dude despite not having a wedding, and looks down on other mistresses. Bitch? Like, excuse you? No. Well, we consider it a marriage in our eyes. Like, then just go get the damn ceremony. Because, like, I don't consider marriage to be the be-all end-all. I am married purely for the legal protections. Like, my husband and I were living together. We're fully acting like a married couple before the ceremony ever took place. But for us, the actual, like, legal document was to offer all the protections. And so the fact that this is pretty much ignoring all of the very real pragmatic matters, like, Adeline is supposed to be better than her mother in that she actually does put her philosophies into practice, but she's ignoring a bunch of giant stuff and just assuming that, like, oh, I'm so smart and brilliant and better than everybody. If I just talk to them, they'll all magically come around to my way of thinking. And I'm pretty sure this whole book is meant to be critical of it. Again, I'm pretty sure we're doing like a, look how much she is suffering for these strange beliefs. And also, the fact that she insists on not hiding it and how horrible it would be to hide it. As a queer woman, fuck you. Like, yes, there are some reasons why hiding parts about yourself and your life and your identity are a necessity and are not a horrible thing. Okay, thank you. I'm still not out at work. Regardless, we're not actually going to switch to the text version yet because I need to go to the library because your girl has beat the first part of the Adult Summer Reading Challenge. That's right, 30 days, not one skip. I read every day in June, and I did 5 of the little quests. I actually went out of my way to complete them. This is the hardest I have ever gone for a summer reading challenge because the raffle, one of the raffle baskets this year, involves a $75 gift card to the gay indie bookstore across the river, and I want it. I want it so bad, especially with our like very limited fund money budgets. That $75 would crush, honestly. So I'm going to go turn this in and get my tote bag. This is the first day you can pick one up, but it is while supplies last, so I want to get it soon. I'll probably put this on in the car as I'm driving there. It's not a very long drive, but it might help a little bit. And I also might do a quick go through just because I realized there's a couple prompts for the TBR game that I don't have many options for. Things like stars on the cover, your initials in the title, or one word in the title. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking, but if there's something like on a display that counts, we'll go for it. But for now, let us get our prize. It took me much longer than I expected to actually get in there and get the books I needed because I just like wandering a library. What can I say? It's a good vibe. But I did get the tote bag. We have our booked and busy, and I got 3 books, one for each of the prompts I still needed a backup for, but because they are backups, I'm not going to go very deep into what they are because I might not end up reading them at all in this vlog, and I don't want it to be too long, but I really do need to get back to it because I feel like we are way behind where we should be in the day. It's already after 12:30 and I haven't finished one book. All right, let's get home and get back to work. So I can't remember the last time I gave a book 1 star. This one got one. That was the most overwrought morality tale about why marriage is good actually and everyone should want to do it, and it's a good thing that divorce is difficult. Like, oh my god. I should have guessed it when our protagonist wasn't bringing up actual critiques of marriage and it was just this vain random I don't like it thing, because like there are actual critiques of marriage, especially in this era. But no, and the melodrama was part of the morality tale, right? Because you have to go over and above. It was like people were always fleeing the room because of the agony of their emotions, and everyone was falling ill because of fevers. And wouldn't you know it, it was always the people that had done something wrong that were falling ill. This is such hack writing that was probably way more praised back in 1804. But no, this has nothing to do with Mary Wollstonecraft, and it is shocking that I have a 1 star after so long. But we do have 5 points. I did submit it, and that means it's time for another draw. So, all right, actually, you know what? I'll let you see. I'm just gonna pick randomly. Okay. I'm feeling you. What did I get? Yes! Is that an ace? Oh, ace is a wild card. That's like a total free pick. Oh no, what do I pick? All right, since it is almost 2:30 and I want to get through at least 3 books today, and also I just need something quicker and lighter after that nonsense, we're going to do the installment of Spy Family. This is number 12. There's only 14 out, and I've been like drawing it out because I don't want to get to the end too soon. But this is all about a family that has been put together for convenience by a spy who needs a family cover to do his thing. Only everybody in the family's got secrets. The mom is a secret hit woman. The child is a secret psychopath. Even the dog is a secret mutant. And the psychopath child is the only one who knows everybody's secrets. So there's all of these really funny, like, nobody else knows. It's really funny. I loved the last installment a lot. And also, I'll clear this in like under an hour. Is it low-key cheating? Kinda. But we're still counting it. So I have finished Spy Family Volume 12, and that cliffhanger. I won't rush into the next one. The next one is the last one I have, and there's only one more beyond that to get right now. I don't want to be all caught up. I like being able to choose them at my leisure. Regardless, I did get this one logged. That is another 5 points. So we are currently at 10 points and over 560 pages. So I'm over half done with my goal for the day, which is great because I still have like other stuff I need to do this afternoon. But that does mean it is time to pick the next. Where did I put the cards? Aha. Pick the next one. And as usual, I will let you see before me. We'll go with this one. Okay, this is the one downside of these not having numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't do that one. Or maybe I can. Let me look. Yep, no, can't do that one. That one's a poll, and the only poll I have is for a review book that I definitely can't read right now. So, doing another draw. You. A queen. Okay, what do I have for that one? All right, physical. All right, let me go grab this one. Okay, so change of plans. We're not going to do a physical book because I was looking at my very small TBR of physical books and none of them looked good. Because again, they're very tiny and I was thumbing through them and just nothing was hitting. I may be slowly burning out from reading a very, very old morality tale for several hours this morning, but instead we're going to go with the ebook prompt, and I'm going with Mr. Warren's Profession by Sebastian Nothwell. This is an Achillean romance set in the Victorian era, which is a lot of what the author writes, and I don't know much of it other than it's between two men of different like social classes. So I'm expecting a lot of pining. The author is great at that, and in general I'm hoping that like the sort of more fun, upbeat nature of a romance will help because I don't want to burn out. I do want to get to at least 1,000 pages, but I do have some other stuff that I need to do at some point. Some flute practice, some social media work for the pro wrestling promotion I work with. So I might be taking like a quick break and then getting back to it maybe after dinner. Hopefully I can finish enough, but I don't know. I am reminded of why I don't do 24-hour readathons as much. So I am 180 pages into Mr. Warren's Profession, and I needed this one. It is a far cry from the morality tale of the morning. It is based in late Victorian era. The Victorian era itself was so long. Victoria had such a long reign. But we're talking about like the beginnings of electricity getting widespread in society and that kind of stuff. And this author loves him some historical accuracy, which I love as someone with a history degree. But it also means that they're living in an era in which they'd go to prison if anybody knew about their relationship. But it's not set in the time when they would be killed. So, you know, improvements. This one is a little bit different than the last one I read, though, because that one was a fantasy and this one is definitely just a historic fiction. But it's so nicely written with reference to everything that you still get the vibe that it's a historic fiction without, you know, without just someone just like throwing names at you. Like, Lindsay will mention all of these fancy noblemen and Aubrey will be there like, I don't know who any of those people are. Because he's from the lower classes. You don't have a clue. And I like that aspect of even the historical references are adding a layer to the romance. And of course, the romance has great pining. Not only are they in what is technically an illegal relationship, but they also have the issues of being in different stations and Aubrey just not feeling like he's even worth someone of Lindsay's station, and Lindsay being so sheltered that like he's unintentionally putting them in danger because this is his first Achillean romance, so he's never learned that he has to hide it. And so his sister, who, fun fact, is also in a sapphic relationship. We love when the cast is queerly rounded. But she's telling him, like, you love this man, but you're putting him in danger with your stupidity. Like, you're being way too obvious and you're putting him in danger. I'm halfway through it. I assume there's going to be some kind of happy ever after at the end. And I do believe this is the beginning of a series. And I think it's one of those series where each book is a different couple. It's not. The sequel is just like a cutesy little novella about some other stuff they talked about in the book. But for right now, I'm probably gonna, well, no, I'm definitely gonna finish this tonight, but I don't know if I'm gonna start anything else because I'd only have like 80 pages left to get to 1,000. But I could stay up late. I don't really have a lot else going on right now. I'm currently at that level of summer break where I am consuming way more YouTube than my standard YouTube subscriptions can keep up with, because I maintain my YouTube subscriptions for the school year. And so when all of this extra time suddenly opens up in the summer, I get through my want to watch list way faster. So it's not like I have a lot of other media that I'm desperate to get to right now, but also having some brain space before bed might be nice. So I will come back to you when I have finished this, and we'll see what I'm feeling with starting a new book. I have finished Mr. Warren's Profession by Sebastian Nothwell, and it is a 5-star, like I knew it would be, which is the third book of his that I've given a 5-star. So I'm really excited that I have another book from him amongst my prompts. But it is late, at least for me. I have a lovely endocrine disorder that can act up and be a bitch if I don't stick to a sleep schedule. So, we're going to call it here, and I will chat with you guys tomorrow about my thoughts on the book in depth and our overall stats. Good night. Good morning. Let's wrap this up. I did love the second half of Mr. Warren's Profession. It's very melodramatic. A lot of big things happened. And if there's one thing Sebastian Nothwell is going to do in his writing, it's put his twink Victorian clerks through hell so that they can be nursed back to health by a hot dude that's obsessed with them. I have read 3 of his books. That's happened twice. You know what? It's good to have a vibe. Regardless, I liked ending it with that because the morning was so meh. And I do feel like if I hadn't had such a meh book in the morning, I probably could have gotten to that 1,000 pages. As it is, I got to 928, which is still really good for a single day. And we got 13 points logged for Red Team. I will be continuing with the cards for the rest of the month. I don't know. Probably won't be vlogging it just because vlogs are a lot to do and I have other content I would like to make instead. Really hoping that I get to certain books that I need to make content. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. Have you ever tried a 24-hour readathon? Would you want to? What's your record? Please let me know down in the description below. Oh, and if anyone is here for the Deck-of-TBR-a-thon, give a shout out. With nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.